I know that the title of this video sounds wrong, but that's precisely the point. Because today, I want to convince you that being wrong is one of the best things that you will ever be. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you did something wrong and were perfectly fine with it? You can't remember, can you? Why not? Why is it that we always strive for perfection? Even though perfection does not exist. It doesn't. Perfection is a theoretical concept. It doesn't exist in reality. So why do we bind ourselves by something that doesn't even exist? And because of which, we carry an added pressure all the time. We carry the pressure of being perfect, even though we can never be. I think it's because somewhere we confuse the idea of being bad or being wrong with losing or failing. And I think our brain even confuses it with death. Yeah. Because I think somewhere our mind is wired in such a way that whenever we do something bad, our survival instincts kick in and they make us do it well. Because doing it well is the only way that it thinks that you might survive. And maybe 1,000 years ago, this was true. But today, not every situation is a survivalistic situation. I think some situations are even ruined by thinking of them from a survivalistic sense. I think Willem Dafoe said it perfectly. Have you ever tried doing something badly? Like, have you ever tried painting badly? Have you ever tried acting badly? Have you ever tried purposely being lousy? Because when you do it badly, when you decide that you are going to do it badly, you are allowing yourself to be free. You are taking that added pressure off you. And especially when you are inherently artistic, or you have any artistic pursuit, I think that striving to be good all the time can ruin what you're making. And that is why somewhere we have to betray the way we see things normally. If you observe artists, you may find that they are eccentric or even weird. And we find it because we have convinced our own minds that we cannot afford this luxury. They are allowed to be weird because they see the world in a different way than we do. Why is that? Because they have allowed themselves to be that way. And because of that, they see the finer details that we don't even bother to look at. Artists see simple things in an artistic sense. And we make simple things even complicated. Because of that, one of the things that really fascinates me is surrealism. Surrealists can just take two things and jumble them or switch them in such a way that they end up creating a new meaning. You can study the arts of René Magritte or Salvador Dali and you will find this. Try this. Take two things in your room right now and bring them together. Make sure that these things are not related in any way. They have no relation and they have no use that is anywhere similar. And I'll bring them together and switch them. What have you done? You have created something that is interesting, isn't it? You have created something that did not exist before. And that is precisely what we should do with every situation. If we think of every situation in a way of how we can do things wrong, then we find more possibilities. But most of us are too afraid to even try doing anything in such a way, of trying to be wrong. A friend of mine once woke up at night and he told me that, what are we even doing? No, seriously, what are we doing? Why aren't we making a film? And I looked at him and I thought, you are right. Why aren't we? And he said, exactly, man. Forget about making it good. Forget about all of that. Let's just make it bad. Like, who cares? I don't care if it's bad. Let's make it for practice. And I said, yeah, man, you're right. We should make it for practice. And so he told me that I'm going to make this film anyhow in 2 days. And then he took those 2 days, the next 2 days, and he shot the film. He did shoot it. And then the only thing that was remaining was to edit it. And then something strange happened to him. He saw the footage and somewhere he stalled the edit. Something that should have been done in a day or two, or maybe even if he could take a week. A day turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and many months. And many times he just opened his software and he looked at it and he, tried a few things. He lost interest. And I think somewhere in his mind, even though he was saying outside that, I don't care if it's bad or I don't care, it's just for practice, somewhere he was still convinced that it was going to be good. And that he wanted it to be good. And because of that, he ended up making nothing. And that is true with so many of us, right? We start things and then we end up not doing it because we're convinced that it's bad and that we're afraid that it's going to be bad. Some of us never even start because we're afraid that it's going to be bad and we don't believe in ourselves. And especially in the time of the internet, it's gotten even worse. The internet has been showing us just perfect things every day. It shows you the completed painting. It shows you the perfect movie. It shows you the beautiful works. It shows you everything that has taken the artist maybe hundreds or thousands of attempts, and we look at it and we think, oh, it's perfect, and we should create something like this, and then we don't have that experience, and when we go to do it and we end up doing it badly, we get discouraged. Because we thought that we would make the perfect painting. We thought we would catch the perfect photograph. We thought we would make the perfect movie, but on our first attempts, we were never going to. But we didn't think that way. We thought if they could do it, why couldn't we? And we don't see that it took them thousands of tries, because the internet doesn't show it to us. It's not the job of the internet to do that. But we are somewhere so convinced that, okay, maybe in our first try everything has to be good. But it doesn't. You are allowed to fail and then try again. We compare our first works with somebody else's 100th work. And then somewhere in that space of wanting to make something good and not being there yet, our dreams die and we give up. And we just can't bear the discomfort of being a beginner. I think everything new that has ever confronted us has come from throwing darts at a board randomly. When you throw darts at a board and you only aim for the bullseye, you miss the whole board around it. If you only aim for the bullseye, you remove the fun of throwing darts at all. And I think that every new invention or every new thing that has ever confronted us has come from missing that bullseye. There are so many more possibilities in hitting the wrong target, in being wrong, than there are in being right. Oftentimes, people stumble into things that they did not even intend to find, and those were the things that changed the world. Happy accidents. And you can only find them if you are willing to be wrong, if you are willing to miss the bullseye. And somewhere that is the beauty of philosophy. Philosophy challenges us to see things in a way that we ourselves were too afraid to, or we were convinced that we won't be able to. So maybe comparison is not the thief of joy. Being afraid of being wrong or being afraid to do it badly is. Because sometimes when you're afraid, you don't end up doing anything. But the moment that you stop being afraid of making it bad or making it wrongly, you become completely free. You end up freeing yourself. So start something bad. Start something by doing it wrongly. Because every masterpiece that you look up to was one day somebody's terrible first draft.